One of the most widely deployed coding assistants on the entire planet has just lost a very large customer. The message went out internally, and nobody involved framed it as any kind of warning shot. 3 separate tools came off that approved list all at once, 2 of them from Amazon, and the third from Microsoft itself. Look at who is doing the cutting. It runs one of the largest engineering organizations anywhere in media today. So what does a company that size know? Something the rest of this industry has not caught up with yet. Every large engineering organization keeps an approved list exactly like this one. Get onto it and you quietly become standard issue overnight. Copilot goes first, and that is the one that really stings, because for years it was simply the default nearly everywhere you looked. Amazon's editor follows it straight out of the door, and suddenly that approved list is looking a great deal shorter than it was. Then the assistant goes as well. 3 separate removals inside a single month from one single internal memo. 2 of them do survive the cut. The first is the editor that developers over there were actually still opening every single day. The second one is Anthropic's model, which gets kept on an enterprise agreement rather than being dropped along with all the rest. Same model, but a completely different road into it. It stops arriving through Amazon's cloud and starts coming in direct instead, and into that newly emptied slot goes Codex. It has been announced as coming, but with no availability date attached to it anywhere yet. 8 separate people inside the company described what happened, and not a single one of them described anything like a disaster. They described something rather worse than a bad tool. They described one that simply sat there month after month, unopened and untouched. One engineer's access quietly expired entirely on its own, simply because nothing he did all day ever went anywhere near it. A product manager put it about as plainly as anyone could. What came out was far more complicated. More complicated than the job ever needed, so somebody had to go in there afterwards. Most of it came straight back out again. That is not a saving, not by anybody's measure. Every single unopened seat is still a line on an invoice, month after month after month, quietly doing absolutely nothing at all. And that is really the thing to hold on to here. This was never a quality score at all. It was purely an attendance record instead. When the usage data finally came back in, one of those 3 tools had a remarkably quiet little line running across the chart. There is a second thing that happened this year, and the timing of it, genuinely hard to ignore. The old way of counting whatever you actually used got retired this year, gone, along with the very unit it was counted in its place, credits. Every single plan now comes with a monthly allowance that is measured out in actual money rather than in requests. And that allowance drains away by the token. Everything you send in, everything you get back, and everything that gets cashed along the way. The prices themselves did not actually move at all. $10 all the way up to $39, each one with a matching allowance included. Autocomplete stayed entirely free of charge, so all of the everyday stuff still costs you absolutely nothing extra at all, but run that allowance right down and there is no gentle downgrade waiting underneath it. It simply stops working until somebody pays up. Multiply that seat price across a real engineering organization and the floor alone is already substantial before a single token is spent. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this. Now, back to the video. So what is actually arriving to fill that newly empty slot, and why is it this particular one specifically? The difference here is really scope. One of them is finishing the line sitting in front of you. The other one takes on the whole code base. It runs the tests itself, reads back whatever it happened to break, changes the code, and then goes round again until the whole thing passes, and it does not do that just the once. Several separate jobs run alongside each other, each one finishing whenever it happens to be done. It shows up in your terminal, inside your editor, out in the cloud, and sitting directly on top of every one of your pull requests as well. On the harder of the 2 big public coding benchmarks, Codex currently lands somewhere up in the high 50s out of a possible 100. It also reviews code, not vaguely either, but pinned directly against the exact line that actually introduced the problem, which changes what a developer actually does all day, describe the work, hand it off, and then go and do something else entirely. Now the part that tends to get quietly left out whenever a story exactly like this one gets summarized right down into a single headline. The very top of that benchmark is not Codex at all, it is Anthropic sitting right up there, and it is not remotely close either. 23 points behind the leader, and 27th on that whole board once you actually count every single model on it. There is a real catch with that easier benchmark though. Some of its answers have leaked already. Straight into the training data itself. Same model, two entirely different benchmarks, 81 on the soft one and just 57 on the hard one. Same model, same week. So treat any single one of these numbers as a rough heading and really not as any kind of precise reading of anything, which is exactly why Disney is not standing behind any one single tool here. Codex simply joins that list. It does not get to own it. And only half of that decision actually has a date attached to it. The removal is fixed. The arrival really is not yet. So the genuinely useful signal here was never the score. It was which of these things people actually opened on a normal Tuesday morning. The pattern sitting underneath all of this is a clear shift, away from one single supplier and towards several of them running at once. The catch is that every single one of them now arrives with its own meter attached. All of them, running at the very same time now. So, watch which tools actually get opened. Cap the spend well before it ever surprises you, and always keep a second option open too. Because the tool that survives the next cut is the one that people reach for without ever being asked to. And that is exactly what actually happened here, from start to finish.